Welcome to another unboxing tutorial and assembly. I'm going to show you the new Mangler squigs. This is exciting. These are a pretty cool unit from the new Orc and Goblin army book, which is I guess like 8 or 9 months old now. I think it came out in February, so let's take a look at what's in here. Ooh. We've got instructions and some giant squigs. So here we go with our Mangler squigs, and so these are pretty giant. Let's see if I can compare it to something here. Here's an orc standard bearer, so close to the same size as an orc, or comparing it to a night goblin, which I'm sure you'll be able to see because there's night goblin crew. So these are the legs here, and they're all numbered off. And we have, let's see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5 goblins there. Okay, so let's get into assembly. I guess this is showing me all the different directions. Okay, so we're going to start out with the goblins, and then we'll work our way back towards this. So, pull these guys out, and there's my giant base. Okay, so let's see here. I need my clippers. So, first guys first. And you know what, I've got a bunch of flash on here. I'm actually going to use my flash removal brush. See if this helps out at all. It's probably not really necessary, but might as well try using it, I guess. Some of these spoons are a bit dirtier. Okay, so this guy here. Be careful how I cut them off. There's one. Another guy here, and this guy. And then, let's see, there's 4 of them, I guess. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to clean those 4 guys up, as well as these bits here that it shows in this first step, and then I'll come back and show you that. Okay, so I finished trimming all these guys off the sprue and cleaning up any of the mold stuff. Just like to note, actually, this is interesting here on the instructions. It talks about these pieces being, says these parts may be warmed with a hairdryer. After approximately 30 seconds, the resin will soften enough to allow you to bend the part, allowing you to add a curve to the chain if desired. The resin will then quickly cool down and set in a new shape. So that's interesting. They're suggesting that you can bend the resin with a hairdryer. So I might give that a shot, but I'll have to see what direction those are going to be sticking out before I do that. Okay, so we've got the first squig all cleaned up, and I've been using my X-Acto knife for this instead of my cleaning tool. Just I find that the surfaces are just too irregular to really get in there with the other thing. So let's get my super glue out, and I'm going to try putting this guy together now. So let's dry fit a couple things first. So these are all marked number 1, and that's going to go I'm going to trim that a bit. It's going to go like that. It's a pretty good fit. Oh, there's a bit of a gap at the front. See if I can make that fit better. Just have to fill in that front bit there. So lots of super glue in there, and I'm going to use a little bit of accelerator. Get that ready. So there's that piece lined up. And what I like to do is I just put a drop of accelerator in there, and that just hardens up the super glue real nice. And instant actually, so. And we'll test this one here. That's pretty good. And hold it in place, and just a touch of accelerator. And there we go, there's our first squig. Now, I need to put, which guys are there? Okay, so it's this guy and this guy go on him somehow. So this one here is going to go, okay, something like that. And this other guy, oh sorry, this guy goes over here actually. He's going to go back down here, I think it is. And okay, so I'm going to connect those up off camera and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's what it would look like now. Now these guys here are holding on by almost nothing, so this is definitely going to be a model that you're going to have to be very careful with even once it's all done. I imagine well, it stands up on its own, but yeah, these things here are not holding on by much, so I'm going to have to be really careful with this. Okay, on to the next squig. Okay, so I've got the second squig assembled now, and you see there's some kind of big gaps there. These legs didn't fit in nearly as nicely as the other one, so I'm going to have to do some filling. But this guy's going to go on top here somehow, and that's basically the size of it. So I'll glue that together and I'll put the rest of the guys on the base and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here we are all done. Obviously a very large model, and just for comparison's sake, here's Skarsnik and Goblin, who's also supposed to be a giant cave squig, I believe. So clearly heroic scale on the Mangler squigs. Overall, it's a pretty neat kit, but it doesn't go together that great. I think that there's some pretty big gaps, as with any fine cast, there's bubbles and stuff, so I'm going to have to spend a bit of time. As well, there's this extra half a goblin here. I'm not sure what he's from. Don't recognize him from anything, and I don't know where he would go, because there's no lower torso for him. But all in all, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great kit once it's painted up. But a little bit challenging to assemble, and it's going to be pretty fragile even as I go forward. So I'm going to probably bend these a little bit before I paint them using their hairdryer suggestion, and we'll see from there. So check out my channel or my blog. It's like watchingpaintdry.blogspot.com, and sometime in the near future I hope to have this all painted up. Anyways, leave a comment below either here or my blog, and I'll see you next time.